Mo Bamba, the numbers extraordinary. 25th in the Big 12 in scoring, but then defense and the rebounds, that's where the bread is buttered. First in the Big 12 in blocks, rebounds, both offense and defense, and recently named to the midseason Wooden Award Top 25. And we now welcome in Mo Bamba. Hold that thought 1 second here.
Sure.
I think this is going to make it easier on all of us. Is that a little bit better there?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to look you in the eye and have a conversation.
Actually, still not.
No, I need the other box back there. But see, we have a lot in common because when people see me, they ask, are you really that short? And when they see you, they immediately ask, are you really that tall?
Yeah.
But it's okay. We're seeing eye to eye now. How about you this year, right? Coming from the high school ranks and your maturation, your development. How are you different, first off, as a person since the time you arrived here in Austin?
Well, with every experience, I think you kind of take away, like, you know, a small part of you that you kind of encounter. And that's kind of why I, decided to come down here, because I knew all the people that I was going to be around is going to be, like, a small part of me in a way. And, you know, it's kind of unreal. But as far as, basketball, I think it's night and day with my development. I mean, as soon as we got here in June, we kind of hit the ground running with just work. And, you know, one of our things that we talked about in coaching class is we love work. And I think that's something that I kind of took on a challenge for and I started doing myself.
Shaka, how have you seen this young man develop in his time?
Well, he's got so much potential and he's got so many good things inside of him. We've just tried to help him grow. One of the things when you're coaching a really talented young guy is, as a coach, you want him to get better this fast. And sometimes, you know, normal players are only ready to get better this fast. So
yeah.
that's always a constant tension, especially with really talented guys like Mo. But one thing to his credit, his work ethic, as he mentioned, has been terrific. We meet and watch tape almost every day, and we talk about, okay, here's what you can do differently on this play or on that play. And if you look at it, whether it's statistically or just his impact on games, he has, with each month, gotten better. He was better in December than he was in November. He's better in January now than he was in December.
And we're going to watch some film right now. The first thing, we're going to break down your motor. And as Shaka gets the clips ready, when did you realize that it was different? It was a little faster, a little physical here on the college level.
Oh, that's just something that you kind of see every day and even in practice. You know, one of the great things about playing at this level is that in practice, you practice against, you know, some of the best, like iron. I'm a firm believer in iron sharpens iron, and you know, going up against James and Royce and Dio and Jericho every day in practice, you know, you're forced to get better and you're forced to go beyond.
Want to get the clips ready? I'm going to put back my box.
So these are clips of him starting on the defensive end, and Mo does a really good job of changing shots around the basket. But the thing where he's really continued to improve is he makes the play on one end, and then there he is on the other end finishing off the play.
Surprise.
Mo, talk about your mentality a little bit when you go from defense to offense.
Well, my biggest thing is just being one of those guys who can be dominant on both ends. And, you know, when you get a stop like that, it just leads to a break, and guys are just, you know, ready to get out and score. And the most, you know, demeaning thing for opposing defense is when they don't score and when you score in the next 3 seconds.
What about, you know, when guys go to shoot, that was Colin Sexton, obviously one of the best scorers in the country. What's your mentality around the basket? Is it, hey, every time I'm going to block this shot, I just want to alter the shot? What are you thinking?
Well, it's not every time I'm going to block this shot, because that's how you get into foul trouble. Every time someone drives, I think two things. I think, one, can I meet him outside the lane and wall straight up? And two, do I have like an angle so I can put this on the backboard or not? And then three, where are my teammates? And, you know, as you can see here, I got Matt right there, and I can't block the ball backwards, but I have Dio right in front of me, and I have JY right there. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe I can get this to Dio. And then, you know, as soon as the ball comes out of his hand, I just sprint the floor, run the white line, and try to finish aggressively.
It takes Mo, Lowell, a few less steps than it takes everybody else when he's sprinting that floor.
Yeah, it is beautiful to watch, like a gazelle out there running the open floor. Next up, your three-point shooting.
Yep.
You've hit at least 1 3 in 4 of the last 5 games. Let's get into that, and let's start with how that has developed. What do you think you were as a three-point shooter coming into the University of Texas? Where do you think you are now?
Percentage-wise?
Just overall comfortable.
I thought it was all potential coming into the university, and then Coach was big on, getting reps and shooting the shot that I'm most comfortable with, and most importantly, pace, and, making sure I'm shot ready. And as soon as I started doing that, I started seeing the results. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, exactly. You see the ball go in.
Yeah, I started seeing some results, and that was just something that I try to do every single time.
When did you realize that you had someone there that could knock down the three-point shot?
Well, I mean, Mo could make threes when he was in high school in AAU, but we knew watching him that at the college level he wasn't going to have the same amount of time to kind of load it up, if you will. So what we've tried to do, really starting in June when he got here all the way up until now, is work on game-like shots, and that's what you'll see here. Shots where if the defense is going to sag off of him or they're going to help off of him, now he can step in and shoot it. That was really, really good rhythm for Mo on that shot, stepping in with confidence. Mo's a confident shooter. In this situation, when he screens, his man gets all the way down here. Mo, talk about just the mindset you have when you're stepping into a shot here from three-point land.
Well, when I'm stepping in, I hear a little voice in my head, and I can hear Coach's little voice. He's stepping, shot ready, shot ready. And the rest is just, what I repped in the gym and what I shoot with Matt late at nights, and just, making sure I get a good arc and making sure I follow through, and hopefully the results are good.
Lowell, Mo's a guy that you and I are going to turn on the TV in about 3-4 years, and we'll see him doing a lot of that. He's going to be a phenomenal three-point shooter. He's not yet at the point where he's completely comfortable in all situations, shooting it at the pace that the game is going. But you see here in these clips, he's certainly capable of it. So one of the questions I get asked sometimes is, well, how many threes do you want him taking? Because he's so big and athletic, don't you want him around the basket all the time? It doesn't always necessarily work that way, because on the perimeter is where he may be able to get open, and then depending on who he's playing with, let's say he's in the game with the Jericho Sims and with the Dylan Osikowski, he may, spacing-wise, be the guy that it makes sense to have at the top of the key. So we want him to continue getting reps. As he mentioned, he loves to come in at night and shoot, and then be able to make teams pay when they sag off of him when he's up there.
Then we got the defensive ability, and most of the attention goes to your shot blocking ability. But talking with a lot of coaches, the thing that impresses them so much is your ability to almost guard every position out on the court and move your feet. What do you think in terms of your athleticism and how that helps you as a defender?
Well, it's all in the mindset. It starts in the mindset that you can go out there and guard anybody. Coach Horn is real big on he's real big on Snoop, and we boost Snoop up and tell him that DPOY, DPOY, and when Snoop hears that, he comes to me and he was like, you can be DPOY too, and we kind of just feed off of each other. But it really starts in the mentality and how you go out there and approach things. When you get on guards when they come off a ball screen, they kind of like they take a half second, they come back and they're like, oh, I got a big on me, and my whole thing is not on me.
Yeah, and this this block here against Alabama is phenomenal.
In situations where people try to drive, in this case, he actually steps out and blocks a shot, which was huge. All right, and then that leads to a steal for us, and watch who scores on the other end. Mo actually told Matt to get out of the way as he was running down the floor.
Give me this one.
But here around the basket, Mo's as good as anybody at this, kind of walling the offensive player up and blocking the shot with either hand. And again, those situations turning into baskets for him and our team.
High percentage shots, nonetheless, from Mo Bamba. And here's another good defensive clip also from the Kansas game.
He mentioned ball screens. He does a great job initially guarding the ball screen, but then recovering back. Mo, tell everyone, just your mentality about multiple efforts.
That's actually not something you can practice. Switch.
That one was nice. That was nice.
Like switching ball screens and defending, it's just something that you kind of, it's more so like instincts. But especially with the ball screens, I think the biggest things is for you to be on the same page as your guards. All we do in practice is when we're doing our defensive drill is making sure we're high and talk, and making sure we're in stance, and making sure we got our pistols up.
And finally, get us into Mo on the offensive glass.
Yeah, I mean, Mo's done a great job all year long going after everyone. And obviously when the shot goes up, it's a situation where if he's aggressive and goes after it, he's going to have a really good chance to get it. But, you know, people try to be physical down there. That was a multiple effort by Mo to go get it. He's gotten a lot better with that. Here he is against TCU. And on the break, when the defense isn't set, it creates an unbelievable chance to go get rebounds. Mo, talk about your mentality just on the offensive glass, what you're trying to make happen.
Well, believe it or not, when you're on the offensive glass, like pace comes into play a little bit. You don't want to just run in and have the guy be able to block you out. But another thing is, you know, not accepting the block out and defeating the block. Look at the push. And just defeating the block out. And, you know, you don't want to be too physical and just throw the guy out the way like I've learned in the Oklahoma State game. Yeah. But you kind of want to either swim or you want to or spin, and that's something that I kind of learned in high school. And I'm more of a swimmer guy because of my length. But pace, not accepting the block out, and just at the end of the day, just grabbing the ball and going to get the ball.
So what's the next thing that you want to develop? The next thing you want to become a true master in?
Just there's a lot of things actually, but the coach is real big on showing people that I care.
Yeah.
And that'll just take my game to the next level because, you know, it speaks on, you know, the other things that I do and other things that I do defensively, other things that I do offensively. But, you know, putting that trust in my teammates for them to know that I care about this more than anything else, and that's going to take all our games to the next level.
Want to wrap this up with a high five?
Sure. Let's see if you can. Too bad that thing's not mobile.
Oh, what? You don't think I got the full reach? I got the full length? Come on now.